Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakar Kadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and shalom to the whole full elect. This is a prophecy and news, and this is an article from Zero Hedge. Guess who's buying gold? Okay, so I'm gonna read. I read the title. This is just impromptu, because I watched a video on Darby 7 talking about the gold being bought up. But let's see what this article says. I warn you right off the bat. I've been waiting to write this piece for the past few days. You see, it's a gold post, and as much as I try to take a bigger picture view, the trader in me still hates writing a bullish piece just as the market is about to have a minor correction. So I often get cute and wait for a dip before I publish. But the gold decline refuses to materialize, and I have decided just to post my piece, hoping I am not top ticking this recent rally. But fairing is probably the surest sign we are headed lower over the short run. Yet, over the long run, I contend something has changed in the gold market, something we should all be paying attention to. Okay. So, okay, let's have a look at the trading over the past year. Last November, gold took off and ran from 1,180 to 1,320. Alright. And it says, to some extent, the initial move of November and December might be easily explained. Don't forget that during this period, the stock market was selling off hard and there was a fair amount of fear in the market. But why hasn't gold sold off in the past 2 months as a fear subsided? You might argue that gold is simply rallying along with the decline in real yields. Powell's historic flip-flop has certainly caused real rates to decline and help gold. Okay. However, many market participants believe gold's price movement is best explained by movements in the US dollar. For the first 3 quarters of 2018, gold was indeed trading almost lockstep inverse to the US dollar. The US dollar was going up while the gold was falling tick for tick. Since October, this relationship has broken down, and now both securities are heading higher. The easiest way to visualize this phenomenon is to show some charts of gold price in other currencies. Okay. Excuse me. So the price is increasing. Whether it's gold price in CNY, Euro, CNY, EUR, GPY, or AUD, it's all the same chart. Gold has had a strong rally in every currency. Gold is not going up because of the US dollar's weakness. It's going up in real terms. The question is why. This is little about the dovish tilt by Powell has helped gold. But if you look at when the rally started, it was way before the post-Christmas cave. I don't have to have any fully original insights to present to you today. Rather, that little I can offer is to connect some dots and make a guess that the timing is finally lining up with a bigger picture, macro trends that have been brewing for some time. I urge you to read the recent report on the World Gold Council titled Gold Demand Trends Full Year and Q4 2018 for executive summary. Central banks and other institutions. Central banks' demand for gold soared to a multi-decade high of 65 LT in 2018. Net central bank purchases totaled 651 T in 2018, the highest level since the dissolution of Bretton Woods. Russia, Turkey, and Kazakhstan remain key buyers throughout the year and were joined by great numbers of central banks purchasing gold. Okay, so they've been purchasing gold in heavy abundance. Central bank net purchases reached, and this is something you gotta take into, if they're buying up gold in this today's monetary system, gold is basically you could say a hedge. Uh, what's the best word I can use? It's basically if you have great resources or great abundance of riches within a fiat currency, the best way to keep a hedge or keep the value of your money is to invest in precious metals, primarily gold or silver, because basically when there's an inflation of market value prices in different various currencies, usually that means that it's not the price of gold that's going up, but it's the value of that set currency. So if you had the gold, the price of the dollar, say an ounce of gold in dollars, since we're in that case, they said went from 1,100 or whatever, say $1,000 for example, and it went up to $2,000. That's not because the price of gold has increased. Technically what's happened is the value of the dollar has decreased, okay, making it less valuable. All right, and that's basically what these various countries and nations are doing. They basically see something down the road that's gonna threaten their currencies, okay, or fiat currencies they've invested in. So as a surety for their funds, they're basically investing in precious metals that when it takes a hit, they still have their values in the weight of gold. All right, so that basically, with that understanding, you should know that we're heading into bad times. Okay, and that's something as well that I read earlier. I watched a video on Darbu saying that many of the banking elites are basically investing in gold. Now, Trump announced that he declared a state of emergency for the building of the wall, and saying that he's going to direct a certain amount of billions into the funding of the wall, but he ain't going to use it to hire more ICE agents, immigration officers, and whatnot. But it's really for the investment in a wall not built from concrete. So basically, the fact that of the matter that he's declared, and this is, I did a video on this. I did a prior video on this, how if Trump wants to build his wall, he's gonna have to declare a state of emergency. Now, even for him to validate his state of emergency, guess what he's gonna have to do? Have a valid form of a threat, which may be a terrorist attack, which should be known as false flags. Okay, which basically is when they make something happen so that it makes their intentions seem like they're 100% valid, man. All right, so that's the time we're in. All right, this is what I believe is a key behind why gold is being bought at a in greater demand by central banks in certain countries, because they know that something bad and terrible is coming, and ultimately that shows you as well that they know what true wealth is: gold and silver. Okay, mineral resources, primarily being gold and silver, because the Bible tells you in the book of Genesis, which I shall read later, that gold and silver, along with livestock, is basically true wealth. Okay. So I read central bank net purchases reached 651.5. I'm guessing that's tons. T in 2018, 74% higher than year on year. I'm guessing. Why oh why? This is the highest level of annual net purchases since the suspension of dollar convertibility into gold in 1971. Wow! So that shows this is a record since gold has been converted. This is the greatest amount of purchase of gold, and the second highest annual total on record. These institutions now hold nearly 34,000 tons, I'm guessing, of gold. If I'm wrong, Slovakia. Heightened geopolitical and economic uncertainty throughout the year increasingly drove central banks to diversify their reserves and refocus their attention on the principal objective of investing in safe liquid assets. Okay, and so that's the point. I'm going to read that point again. Heightened geopolitical and economic uncertainty throughout the year increasingly drove central banks to diversify their reserves and refocus their attention on the principal objective of investing in safe and liquid assets. Okay, let me just look up what a liquid asset is. Uh, a liquid asset is cash on hand or an asset that can be readily converted to cash. An asset which can readily be converted into cash is similar to cash itself because the asset can be sold with little impact on its value. So, gold, silver, okay. Um, as you can see, gold conversion into dollars. Um, well, that first initial fall did the job, man. So gold is a liquid asset, silver is a liquid asset, and that's what they convert. They're putting their money into. They're investing in. Okay, as a hedge for the hard times that are coming. Look at those figures closely. The central bank is buying 74% year over year, highest annual net purchases since Nixon closed the gold window. These are now some standard figures that few are talking about. Everyone is blabbering on about every Trump tweet or focusing on the minute by minute progress in the Chinese American trade negotiations. Yet, right in front of us has been a dramatic shift in the demand picture of the gold market. Now, this is why these things are playing out in the media because they want to basically overshadow basically, overshadowing their true intentions because that, and this is the reason why most people are not educated and don't understand what the buying up of gold entails, being that hard times are coming and investing in liquid assets such as gold and silver, all right, those such great assets basically are a hedge for the times that we're heading into. And all these great nations and central banks, they're a network. They're all at one. All right, so they know what times are coming. They all down sit down and have lunch together and you know talk business over a dinner, so they all know what's about to happen. All right, and that's why they're investing, and that's why at the same time Trump is in office because Trump is a great masquerade of the true intentions of the elite banking society headed by the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, DuPonts, and the Gettys, being Esau Edom, all right, the red Hebrew Edomites, who basically are establishing their new world order as we speak. My good friends at Murray Beard and Co. created this great chart for me that shows the net purchases by the central banks over the past few decades to get the sense of the scale of the buying. Okay, so you can see net scales, net sales, net purchases. Okay, and I was right with the tons. So I'm guessing these are the from 2010. The buying is shot up in a crazy amount, man. So I ain't gonna read on this article. I believe you can read it on, but I'm just gonna grab these scriptures, a few scriptures through the Spirit, and just break it down, man. So this is Revelations 13 and 2, and it reads, Slakia, Revelations 13 and 2. Okay, and Abraham was very rich. Okay, so it says, and Abraham was very rich. Now we're gonna and that's gonna break down how he was rich. It said in cattle, in silver, and in gold. So in order for you to be in the time of Abraham, antiquity, time of old, of the patriarchs, wealth was dictated by what? Cattle, silver, and gold. Okay, and these are things that are both known today, because if you was to live on this earth, money is basically a medium that allows you to obtain these things. But really and truly, silver and gold are a hedge against that, because this money we're using is fiat currency that can be printed at anyone's whim. All right, being the banking elites, so they're allowed to print up this money, and then the more they print, basically creates more devalue because there's more abundance. Whereas silver and gold and cattle, these are things that are under the control of the Most High Power, and the demand is always going to remain the same. I mean, it ain't going to remain the same, but the abundance of it is controlled beyond, outside the means of these bankers. So that's why it's always going to determine serve of a greater value than this fiat currency that can be printed up and basically come to naught as and when they please. All right, and really as and when the Most High please. So the point being that real wealth is cattle, silver, and gold. Okay, so and we see why they're buying up this gold and silver. All right, let me just I'll take a peek at this. See whether I want to read this. Okay, yeah, I'll come back to this in a second. Line it up. Okay, so now you see them buying up all the gold, silver, and etc. This is the reason why. All right, it's Revelations 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. And this is why they're investing in gold and silver and these various materials, because they know that they have a short time. They're trying to accumulate the greatest of amount of wealth because they know what time they're heading into. Okay, and really, this is for them to establish their new world order, so that again, they know time is short. So they're manipulating the market in order for them to buy up all of the reserves of wealth upon this earth. Now, and then buying all the gold and silver. Oh man, the point just escaped me, man. Shit. Okay. It's lucky, man. I feel this point just escaped me. What I was about to say, but they're buying up of the gold and silver. You know, shows that they know they have a short time, and really and truly they want to wipe it out as they you know they're keeping all the wealth to themselves, and they want to bring out this cashless society, whereby, excuse me, in order for you to buy and sell, you're gonna need what RFID chip spoke of in Revelations, the 13th chapter, and they're gonna be able to credit you with whatever amount of money they determine they see fit, take away whatever amount of money they see fit, and allow you to live within their world. But gold and silver is really going to be their currency, which going back to 1971 in in America and over here in the UK, and they also took away the silver and gold standards. Okay, so that basically, in turn, what that made you is a slave onto the bankers, the banking elite. So basically, they're pulling that into a total totalitarian into its total state by basically buying up all the gold and silver. All right. So I'm gonna finish on this James 5:1 and read on. It says, "Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth eaten. For your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. Ye have heaped treasure together for the last days." Okay, so all this gold and silver that's been accumulated, this is prophecy being fulfilled. It's saying that they basically, what they're doing is they're actually heaping it all into one place for the benefit of us, for the benefit of the elect, Yahweh Shai and the 144,000. And let's not forget as well that Venezuela right now, they're trying to get back their gold from the Bank of England, but they're basically saying we won't release your funds or your wealth as long as Maduro's in power. We want to give it to another person. So they're basically dictating who will get that gold or silver, and who's to say he will even get, because he's a puppet set up for them. they'll just make it out as if, yep, look, he's in power now and everything's running properly. But wait, the main thing they're saying about Maduro is he's not feeding his people. Now, if they were to release funds that he's entrusted over to them, give it back to him, what would he be able to do? Feed his people. But then now the narrative changes, and the whole propaganda that's being pushed to the people doesn't hold no weight no more, has no weight in gold no more. So that's why these things are playing out. They know what they're doing. They're heaping up treasure together for the last days. All right. Behold the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which of you kept back by fraud crieth, and where those laborers, and were crying unto the Lord. And the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. The word Sabaoth goes back to Tazabah, I believe, meaning hosts, the Lord of hosts, not Sabbath, okay? And that's why you got to look up the Hebrew and the Greek to get the full understanding. Because if you read that, you may believe that they misspelled Sabbath, but you don't know that's a bastardization of a Hebrew word, okay? Ye have lived in pleasure on the earth and have been wanton. Ye have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you. Okay? Be patient, therefore, brethren, unto the coming of the Lord. Behold, the husbandman waiteth for the precious fruit of the earth, and have long patience for it, until we receive the early and latter rain. Be ye also patient. So we're being patient as laborers of Yahweh Hashem Shai for his return and establishing of the nation of the kingdom of Israel, man. Establish your hearts, establish your minds. We have to be strong within a strong mind and a strong will within our minds. And Yahweh Hashem Shai. For the coming of the Lord draweth nigh. Grudge not one against another, brethren, lest ye be condemned. Behold, the judge standeth before the door. All right, take my breath from the prophets who have spoken the name of the Lord for an example of suffering, affliction, and patience. Okay, so but that's the point, man. All right, the point being, I'm gonna go back a bit. Shit. All right. It says, this being the point. Verse 5, ye have lived in pleasure on earth and been wanton, undisciplined. Ye have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. All right. Ye have condemned and killed the just, being the nation of Israel, and and he doth not resist you. So basically, look, the Lord is gonna make it known in these last days who His chosen are, and His wealth is gonna be. It's gonna basically be all this wealth that's been accumulated by Esau Edom, the red Hebrew Edomite, is basically gonna be a witness or proof against his wickedness, and the Lord is gonna judge him in accordance to the abundance that he's gathered. So with that, man, I pray you edified. Shalom.